Welcome to the Gear Slum, your one-stop shop for all things guitar culture nonsense. I'm Aaron.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Cole.
We slum it hard so you don't have to. So yesterday I went to buy some groceries for myself. My wife is at her mother's house for
my wife.
And I was like, maybe I'll like pick up some beer. And so I went to the beer area, and then I was like, well, maybe I'll get some some whiskey or something instead. And I saw that they had Jim Beam for $9 for a bottle. So I bought a bottle. And then I bought some ginger ale, and now I'm drinking those two things together.
I'm understanding through context clues that $9 is inexpensive.
It's usually like $18, so it's like half price.
How do you figure? That's what my dad always
division
he used to say whenever he'd say like make like the most simple arithmetic calculation. How do you figure? If he's listening, he will have really appreciated that joke, just so everyone knows.
Mr. Duke, it was good. So that's what I'm drinking. That's what's tinkling around here.
That's what's tinkling. What you got clinking?
I also have a beer.
That sounds weirdly.
Which modern times is that?
This is Spaceways.
Spaceways.
Yeah, Spaceways is one of their seasonal releases.
Spaceways.
So speaking of space,
it's available every year, but not year round.
What do you guys think is going to happen to Space Force? That's not going away, is it?
Well,
I hope not.
I mean, I hope Antifa doesn't take over Space Force. That's what I'm worried about.
Space Antifa.
Space Antifa. Space Antifa.
Anti-space-fa.
I'm just really mad at Antifa for all the things they're doing lately.
I know.
I'll say ruining Space Force.
I pronounce it Antifa, like she's your auntie.
I pronounce it Auntie Faye.
She's your auntie,
like Tina Fey.
Yeah, like Tina Fey. Tina Fey.
Tina Fey. Okay.
Tina Fey. Where'd you?
Tina Fey.
Yeah.
She's definitely Antifa. Tina Fey is.
Oh dang. So remember last episode I was talking a little bit about the Strymon Iridium that I have purchased, and how I was like liking it, but I don't know if you picked up, but I seemed maybe a little iffy on it. I wasn't quite sold on it.
You may have like,
I picked that up, but I thought I didn't think that was you weren't liking it. I was thinking sometimes there are learning curves.
Yeah, that might be true. It's also very simple, but
Aaron has some learning curves, that's for sure.
My curves, you would do
all
well
of his curves are they're right, all in the right places.
I'd like to learn on those curves.
So, dude, my legs go all the way down to the ground.
Unless you're in a wheelchair.
Then they usually still do.
They still actually went down to the ground.
No, they stop right before the ground.
Depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes they put them platforms
down. Sometimes they would put them down and get in the way.
Well, I guess sometimes I'm wearing shoes and my legs don't go all the way to the ground.
Yeah,
they stop at the sole of my shoe,
at the upper edge of the sole,
or at my sock even. If I'm wearing socks, the base of my sock. But so
this is good stuff, guys. I just want to say, I don't want to like take us out of the moment, but this is good stuff.
So I was having a hard time getting a sound. And granted, I was only using headphones, but I was having a hard time getting a sound that wasn't overly bassy, and I couldn't really dial in the treble the way I wanted to.
Right. I remember that.
And then I realized,
is it because your tone knob on your guitar was turned down?
No, I realized it's because I was wearing these headphones that I'm wearing now, and they're like really bass focused.
Oh.
And so I tried it with my in-ears, and it was like so much brighter. And I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. Like just the difference of, because then I remembered like when I've used these headphones to try to listen to music, it's also like really bass heavy. And I'm like, this sounds terrible.
Wait, are you telling me that the speaker you hear things in affects the sound?
I don't think it's so much the speaker as it is the plastic that they use in them, like the tone plastic.
And the magnets. Don't forget the magnets, bro.
Magnets. I think it's all about the plastic.
No,
you believe in magnets? Yeah, it's pure schmagnetism. Just electromagnetic.
That's like all modern headphones. Like that's how like Beats by Dre and Skull Candy and all those are just like they're just super bass heavy because that's kind of a way to cover up bad, bad speakers.
And it's good for like some types of music.
Yeah.
But not for everything.
I mean, heck, I spent like thousands of dollars in high school on a car stereo that was all bass, so
it was all about that bass.
Mm-hmm. That's not true. I actually had pretty awesome speakers in my car, but I also had
You had some nice tweeters.
Dude, you should have seen my tweeters in high school.
Dude, I was gonna get some.
That's back when I just had my learning curves, though.
I thought about getting a nice car setup, but then I went to the store that sells the stereo systems, and they said I was
obviously.
Yeah, they said I was banned from tweeters. So they said I'm banned for life.
You got banned from tweeters. It wasn't a 12,
bro.
A 12-hour thing.
I got perma banned from tweeters.
Perma banned from tweeters. Bummer.
It's all about the bass for me now. It's just
dude.
Just woofers. Woofers and subwoofers. What are you drinking, Phil? Tea? Coffee? Is that from this morning?
How dare you? No.
I'm just like, do you drink the same cup all day long?
No. Okay. How dare you?
Phil,
let me tell you a little bit of something about my day.
All right.
I between when I get to work and when I leave, I don't have the opportunity to remove my mask. So it's unsafe for me to ingest anything. So what I have decided to do now is I chug the coffee before I get to work, and that was my afternoon coffee. That was
you chug your afternoon coffee before you get to work?
No, the one you just commented on.
Oh,
it's my afternoon coffee.
So Phil, there's a trend going around on TikTok. So first of all, though, you're saying you never even pull down your mask at all, even to drink something?
No, because that would be unsafe. Only because I'm only
You're not like breathing out when you're drinking.
I'm only in my class with 30 people at any given moment. I'm never alone. If I were alone, then it would be.
You know what you should do? Well, I know not. I was going to say you should like.
You are not alone.
I remember in middle school we had to like line up outside of the classroom before we were allowed in during the changing period.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say you should do that, but then you have just kids standing out in the hallway.
Yeah, then I'm making it unsafe for them because they literally pile up on top of each other.
Yeah,
it's almost like there's not a good solution, and maybe we should just be at home. But I don't know. That's crazy though. So one of the trends. There's a trend on TikTok that's pretty popular. It kind of started as like making fun of this girl who posted about her how to make coffee, and she makes iced coffee, and it's basically like. By volume, it's like 10% coffee and like
I do. Yes, I have seen that one. It's like she's got coffee and then she's got like sweetened condensed milk or something. Like it's like a bunch of. It's like this much coffee and then there's like everything else.
So much other stuff.
Yeah.
And so then of course there's a million TikToks making fun of her, and they're all fine. Some are better than others. Where do you fall on that spectrum? As far because you drink iced coffee largely, right?
Well, that is warm coffee.
He does not only drink iced coffee. Every day he drinks a giant thing of coffee with
BRB.
some 2% or non-fat milk in it.
How do you know this? Is this a thing
He's
that like
he's
people
told
know
us
about each other?
He's told us this.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
But I don't think I would say it's way lower than that other girl's ratio. Our girl is less than the other girl. Our girl Phil. Phil is currently talking to a man about a fence or a gate, as it were,
Or a horse.
or a horse, or one of any number of things.
Any other thing you might want to say. So what? Okay, so then here's another.
I drink my coffee either black or heavily milked. Not in between. I don't like a little bit of milk. I don't actually like milk
That makes sense.
in my coffee. I only like half and half in my coffee.
Okay.
Milk's too thin. I don't like it. Half and half's good. I tried heavy whipping cream once because that was all I had, and it was awful. It was like drinking oil.
Is coffee itself just the consistency of water?
Yeah. Well,
Mostly.
it depends. So depending on how you brew it, it can feel a little bit oily.
Okay, but it's not like viscous.
It's not. No, it's not any thicker. It's just maybe like a soda consistency, but not quite that thick. I would say less so.
So is
like
it common?
Tea? You've drank tea. Oh, you never drank tea before either. I was going to say it's like tea, but it's not.
No,
it's not.
I haven't.
A good reference point.
Is it normal? Like, would you say the majority of coffee drinkers have like one coffee and that's the coffee they drink every day? Or is it like, I'm going to treat myself today and get the one that has like frosting in it or whatever?
Oh, like if they go to like a shop or something?
Or even just at home?
I would say that most people who drink coffee at home probably drink the same coffee every day. And it's probably like Folgers or Maxwell House or something. One of the
like there are
grocery
people
store
that
brands.
There are people that go like buy coffee every morning from like Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, but they're probably the minority, right?
Yeah, I would say most people probably drink coffee at home that they buy in bulk that is like
That's
consumer
like somewhat,
grade, but not like good.
Like budget type coffee or whatever.
Yeah, basically you can buy like 5 pounds for like $6 or something. It's like pre-ground. It's in a plastic tin. Whereas like coffee heads will buy whole beans and they'll buy different ones from different places and are a little more focused on what they're drinking than others.
Okay, so the dumb thing is that there is like a Mormon equivalent of that. So like normal people in my mind, if they want to ingest caffeine and don't drink coffee or tea, would just have like soda out of a can or a 2-liter or something like that,
Yeah.
But there are entire stores here dedicated to like soda, but with all kinds of flavors in it and stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they're expensive.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, I mean, like $2 or $2.50 or whatever, but way more expensive than just like going to 7-Eleven and spending $1 on a drink,
That's not. I mean, that's not cheap for like a drink.
Exactly. Like it's cheap compared to a Starbucks coffee, but most people aren't going to Starbucks every morning.
Yeah, I know some people who do, and they usually do have like a drink that they get all the time.
Yeah, like
I don't really go to Starbucks unless I like very often. I don't very often.
That's another popular thing on TikTok is kind of shaming people for their coffee choices.
Oh yeah.
Like people will take pictures of the barista or whatever will take a picture of the receipt showing all the stuff.
No, that's terrible.
And some of them are pretty bad.
Coffee is like guitar pedals in a lot of ways where there's people who are like, so like, how if you like meet someone who's like, oh yeah, I'm really into like guitar gear and like pedals and stuff. And then you look at their board and they have like, or they don't even have a pedal board. They have like 2 MXR pedals and like a TC Electronics or something. You're like, oh yeah, cool. That's like Starbucks. And then there's like the other people who are like, yeah, I'm like really into it. And they have like all these different things and like different
they have like contraptions at home and
stuff.
stuff.
Exactly. Like I have probably like 6 different brewing methods at home. Just like, and most of them are like minor variations on each other. It's like, But and so like if someone's like, oh yeah, I'm like really into coffee, I go to Starbucks every day. That's kind of like the equivalent of that. Like, oh cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's definitely like a different. You can't really have the same kind of conversation about coffee with those people as you can with other people.
It was like I honestly felt bad. So I went. My son is taking drum lessons, which is awesome, and he is awesome.
Nice.
He also was like begging me to go to. Apparently, Aerosmith is going on tour second half of the year, and he wants me to spend like $200 on Aerosmith tickets. Which,
jeez.
For the record, the fact that my son wants to go see Aerosmith. I don't even like Aerosmith that much, but they're a pretty awesome band, you know.
Dude, I would imagine Aerosmith is amazing to see live.
Oh, totally. Because they have so much money. Like, you know that there's a million people who are working on the show, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Who are like very talented.
And they have a lot of like good hit songs.
Oh, totally. Like even, and I wonder like, and there are some Aero songs that I genuinely love. Like Dream On, that song freaking rocks.
Yeah, know? That's a good one.
But, okay. So anyway, so I went. So he's taking drum lessons at this guitar store. It's kind of our little locally owned guitar store. In fact, we saw the owner at NAMM, and I kind of like.
Oh, nice.
He's kind of a, I don't know. He's kind of a tool.
Did he recognize you? Did you make eye contact or anything?
I doubt he would recognize me, but I've met him a bunch of times and stuff.
Yeah.
So I felt
especially
bad
like out of context, he might not recognize you. Like.
Yeah, totally. So we go in, and it was like his first time, so I wanted to go in and meet his teacher and everything. And so we went in, and the lessons, like his teacher was still with the previous student or whatever. And so I was showing him some guitars, and that's when I sent you guys a picture of that mini Jazzmaster, which is a pretty cool guitar. Honestly.
Oh, yeah, yeah. With the 2 humbuckers.
But I felt bad because I was kind of talking to him about it. And like, oh yeah, this is Jazzmaster. See how it's a little bit, how the body looks different. And, you know, they mostly have Fender guitars. And then the guy working there was like totally cool. I was like, oh, are you a guitarist? Like, yeah. Oh, what kind of guitars do you have? And that's when it's like, I honestly wish it was just like, oh, I have a Strat and a Les Paul. And it's like, well, I have these really cool guitars from builders you've never heard of, you know,
right?
Or likely never heard it, because he's just like a kid in high school who works at this guitar shop.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason he would have heard of those things, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's kind of in that moment I wanted to be more like the Starbucks guy.
So did you list what you had? Did you tell him what you had?
I told him this builder that I love, his name's Kevin Equitz, and then there's this other one, Roni, and he was like,
hey, I remember Kevin Equitz.
I don't remember that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt bad. But then we were like, and even after that,
you tell him you have a Jonathan Fellows.
Jonathan Fellows. And then something came up. He mentioned something else, and I was like, oh yeah, I saw that at NAMM. He's like, oh, you went to NAMM? I was like, yeah, I do this guitar, I do this podcast about guitar stuff. And he's like, oh, I'll have to check it out. And that's the other thing where you're like, well,
I do this podcast that's like vaguely about guitars.
Yeah, like in theory is about guitars, but very loosely. So yeah, there are those times, but I feel bad too, because like there is that initial piece of you that when somebody says they play guitar, they're like, oh, have you heard of? Oh, so this friend of mine actually, who, it's interesting, he used to, he started playing with this worship band here in Utah. And so he called me. I haven't talked to him in like 2 years, and he called me to kind of get some advice, because he's playing acoustic guitar, and it just sounds really thin in the broadcast, like they're broadcasting their
like live streaming it or whatever.
Yeah, their sermons or whatever they're called. And it's kind of funny because I could tell he was like impressed that I knew all the terminology and stuff. I was like, oh, so your worship pastor, you're probably doing this. And how big is the sanctuary? And I was like, yeah. But he was asking me, he's like, yeah, there's actually this cool amp called the Spark amp.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to be like, yeah, I know that. I know all about that stuff. You probably have heard of it.
A lot of people like that. I've heard that it's actually really good. Like,
yeah, it seems like it's kind of what was the Line 6 amp?
Like the Spider?
No, well, maybe it wasn't even line 6, but remember there was that amp that was like, it was like white and had like red trim around it.
White.
It was one of the early amps that had like app connectivity.
I don't
probably came out
that
like
one.
7 years ago or something like that.
Okay.
And it had an eye in it.
Like an eyeball?
What was that thing called?
Just like an eyeball right in the middle of it?
I thought it was like the letter I.
Oh.
Let's see. But at any rate,
it reminds me a lot of those, like the Yamaha, the THRs, you know?
Yeah, the little desktop
ones. Yeah.
Yeah. And those are cool. I've always kind of wanted one of those, honestly. But yeah, apparently, like everything I've heard is that it's kind of everything that amp wanted to be.
Yeah, well, like I know, I was thinking that they had an amp before. Bias, it's Bias, right? Or Positive Grid?
It's Positive Grid, I think.
So they have the bias effects,
yeah,
which are pretty cool. But I was thinking they had another amp before that was like more expensive. So when I saw people talking about the Spark, I was like, oh yeah, that's like it's like $1,000 amp or whatever. And then turns out it's not. It's like $250.
Yeah, it's like pretty affordable. And it's weird. It's weird too, like when you talk to somebody who's only like slightly into guitar. Like it's weird that somebody who doesn't play a ton of guitar, that's the first amp they went with, you know?
Yeah.
It's just weird that like we're like such a small subset of guitar players, the ones who like obsess over gear and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so see they had the bias head.
Yeah.
Which is like, I want to say it's like $1,800 or something. Oh, it's $800, but so I was thinking that was the one that became popular, the bias amp head. Oh no, the bias amp head is $1,200. So I was like, people were comparing it to like, well, everywhere I saw someone post about it and they said like they really liked
like a Kemper.
Yeah, and then someone else was like, oh well, you should get you should try the Helix instead. And they're like, well, this is like a quarter of the price. And I was like, I don't think so. But it is, because it's only like $250. But I was thinking of the other one, which is like $1,200. So for $250, like that's a really good price for something if it sounds good.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it seems to be kind of competing with like the Katana Air, is that what it's called?
Yeah. So it has speakers built into it or what?
No, so I guess, well, yeah, I think it does. I think
it's like small ones, like a 4-inch or something.
Yeah, because there's no way he has a separate cab for it. Is it Positive? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's Positive Grid. Let's see the specs.
It's like amp fabric on the front of it. Okay, we're gonna learn.
Yeah, so it is. It has like stereo 4-inch speakers in it, but then I'm sure it has like a speaker out as well.
So it is honestly like those,
like that THR.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even see a speaker out on it. Honestly, it has an aux in, and it has a USB port, but it doesn't have a speaker out. So I think it is just kind of
so it's like just meant for
bedroom amp type thing.
That's so weird though, like because I've seen people say that they use it like at church, and I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I guess you just mic it or something.
Oh, the aux is probably an aux out, actually.
Well, it has an aux input, a 1/4-inch guitar input, 1/8-inch aux input, and a headphone output. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just mic it. Maybe people are miking it up, which, I mean, you're miking the amp anyway. It's just funny, like this
weird.
Maybe they're these 4-inch speakers.
There's no way they're doing USB, because it would be like,
yeah,
you'd have to like have some USB extender or something like that.
It's Bluetooth. Well, it has maybe they're using it. I mean, yeah, like you said, USB.
No, the Bluetooth isn't for audio. I don't think. I think it's just for controlling the effects and everything.
Well, it says Bluetooth audio, wireless connectivity,
yeah, that's what
but I'm sure that
Bluetooth
means like
is for like audio and also.
But I doubt that it like sends a Bluetooth signal. I'm pretty sure that just means you can like send your Bluetooth to it, so you can like play along with it. Like that's how a lot of them are.
Yeah.
You can stream your music into it and then
play along
jam with it,
or
for lack of a less idiotic
I wonder
term.
if they're, because I don't see an aux out on it even.
Yeah,
I wonder if
that's
they're
so
just
weird.
miking it, which is pretty weird. But at the same time, that could just be your stage, your monitor, and then
Yeah. I wonder how loud it is.
I really want to.
Pretty cool.
Oh, is it crap.
Amp
With
you're not thinking of the Micro Cube.
no, dude.
I'm sure
Did
someone
you ever see the
knows
little,
it, and they're like,
I'm just seeing this. Have you ever seen this little Vox? It's called Vox Audio or Audio, ADIO.
Yeah. It looks like it's kind of a similar shape, but like rounded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching the Andertons video about it. The Air, there's an Air one.
Yeah, that is what. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at.
And it has like it's like wireless too, so it has like a wireless receiver. I think like how the Boss one does,
like the Katana Air. Yeah, that's cool.
But it's been out for a little while because I remember they did a comparison of. I guess maybe it doesn't have the wireless thing, but it has. They did a comparison of the Vox and the Yamaha one on the Andertons.
Oh, okay.
A while ago.
That Yamaha.
And I think
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think when the Katana Air came out, they did like all three of them. They like redid the video.
Yeah, that makes sense. They did that Yamaha one's been around for. Oh, it was the Line 6 Amplify.
Oh yeah.
Remember
was that an amplifier though?
Yeah,
I remember. I do remember that.
They had it in different models, but the big one was like a 212. That was like back when it was competing with like the freaking Mustang and the other modeling amps, you know.
Oh yeah. I'm looking. They have like a 150 watt guitar combo.
Yeah.
Because they did I thought they did like I think they either had like a desktop version of it or like.
Yeah.
But I don't think it had speakers. I think it was just like the effects and the modeling.
I think they even had like an Amplify. Like you could maybe even just get like the Helix. What do they call the Helix? Native or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It's just all digital.
Yeah, because remember for a while they were doing like they were going in a bunch of different directions. Like they had they had like the pod, and then they did the Hawk effects or something. Is it Firehawk?
Yeah, the Firehawk.
Like that. Yeah.
That was a weird time. And then the Helix, like crazily.
The Helix kind of combined it all.
The thing they put out that cost $1,500 is the one that takes off.
Right.
Those Amplify amps were like more expensive than a Mustang, but not that much. Like they're still pretty affordable, you know.
Oh, so here's the one. The one that I was thinking of is the Amplify TT, which I believe stands for tabletop.
That makes sense.
And it's basically just like a little box, so it doesn't have a speaker or anything. But I think it has a headphone out, and then I think it's USB, so it's basically like a guitar. Oh, but it has a power out too. But it's basically like an interface.
Okay.
But then it has
it's like a multi-effects unit essentially.
A speaker out. Yeah, but it just looks like an amplifier, so it just has it has drive, bass, mid, treble, and reverb, and then that's it.
Huh, that's cool.
But then you can obviously use all the different.
Yeah,
obviously, it has effects because it has a tap tempo button on it, or it has a tap button. I'm assuming it's tap tempo.
Yeah. It's interesting. I hadn't really realized, but that's like a huge. I bet those things are selling. Like it seems like everyone has a little desktop amp right now, and I bet they sell pretty well because everyone's just stuck at home, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons why I wanted the Iridium is just so you have something that you can easily just plug in for a minute and not like even be loud at all.
Really good.
Yeah, and it sounds good. Yeah, so it's like worth listening to.
Yeah.
But that Katana Air is pretty cool.
I know. Clint has one and he likes it a lot.
It runs on AA batteries. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm pretty sure it comes with a plug too.
Yeah, but like forever, if it's like if you could either plug it in or you could do like 8D batteries or something.
Yeah, it's like you had a freaking
cost like
boombox in the
$90
90s.
just to battery power for like 4 hours or something.
Yeah. And actually the other thing you're seeing quite a bit, well, I haven't seen it in the guitar world as much, but there's quite a few different PA speakers you can buy that have built-in like lithium ion batteries that are rechargeable.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
specifically for busking. And I know didn't Ryan just of 60 Cycle
he did that
Shane?
battery powered amp.
Yeah.
I assume it's rechargeable.
It must be, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Like putting batteries in something is just so cost prohibitive unless it's like AA, but then you can't really do a whole lot with AA batteries.
Yeah.
But like C or D batteries are just so expensive and they just don't crazy. Last. It's like crazy.
I drove to like 3 different gas stations on Christmas Day because somehow we got a Nerf gun and I didn't have any C batteries, which I always have like every kind of battery, including like 8 different kinds of the little disc batteries,
Oh yeah.
And so I had to go buy 6 C batteries at a gas station that cost me like $18 or something crazy. It was ridiculous.
For a Nerf gun?
Yeah. It's like a powered one that like fires the little balls, like rapid fire. It's an assault rifle.
Yeah.
It's an AR.
It's AR. That's what AR stands for, right?
That's what AR stands for.
Oh man.
It's pretty funny that Phil left seemingly for some kind of emergency, and we've been talking about guitar gear ever since he left.
He did tell us what he was leaving for.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he said a guy's coming to give him a quote on a gate in the backyard.
Oh.
It really is seeing a man about a fence.
How did I miss that?
I don't know. He sent it before, like a while before he left.
Oh, okay.
He messaged us about it. Oh, man. Guitars are something.
Guitars are something else, right?
Yeah, dude. So I bought the Iridium, but I also ordered a reverb pedal. So I got a Guitar Center gift card for Christmas. So I was like, I guess I have to buy something from Guitar Center. So I looked on there and I was like, well, I need a reverb pedal, so I'm going to look for a reverb pedal. And I was looking at the Ghost Echo from Earthquaker Devices. Because I used to have one. I think I had the V2 probably like 4 or 5 years ago, and I really liked it. But I ended up selling it when I did my clean slate, which I suppose was a terrible idea looking back. But it was fun. I mean, I don't have any regrets about it, but I really liked that. That was one of the pedals that I actually really liked and wish I had back. So I was thinking about buying one. But then I came across, they have another one called the Levitation, which is based on the Ghost Echo, but has slightly different controls. And so because of that, you can get slightly different sounds out of it that you can't get out of the other one, and vice versa. But anyway, I ordered one, and it was like, okay, we're going to ship it. And it's supposed to be here today on Monday. But then on like Thursday or Friday, I was looking at the tracking to see, because it shipped last week, like last Tuesday. And then it was like going from like Virginia to Illinois or something, because I bought a used one. So so it's like moving. And then I get this message on like Thursday or Friday. And it's like, oh, we improperly classified or categorized your package, so it's delayed now. And that's how it stayed until today. So like all weekend I was looking at it like, does that mean they lost it, or like that it's in the wrong place, or like what? So supposedly it's moving now. I got a new update, but it's supposed to be here Thursday now instead.
What pedal is it again?
It's the Earthquaker Devices Levitation Reverb.
That's right.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. I still haven't used any pedals with the Iridium, and I keep wanting to, and then I was too lazy to like get out extra power and patch cables and stuff. You back, Phil?
I'm back.
You back, baby. How'd it go? No.
So great.
This is an audio medium, Phil.
Phil's shaking his
I
head.
said
What
so
is it
great.
about? Is it about a fence?
Yeah.
Fences are irrationally expensive.
Don't tell me that.
Right? Like I
You
know
can
there's
build one
a
yourself.
cost associated with everything, but fences are very expensive.
Yeah.
Dude, just make it. Just like buy some pickets and picket your fence.
How about like if I just
Peacefully
steal
protest.
some pallets?
Yeah, just make a fence out of stolen pallets.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what I want to do.
What do you already have a fence though, right?
Yeah, it's just it's
No,
just
no, what you should do is take a fence.
Oh.
Ooh.
But don't take
No,
a
a
fence.
fence.
So remember how we have a dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't shut up about it.
Yeah. Right. So this is to create an area
Okay.
where the dog can only access some parts of the yard and not other
Trying
parts.
to, segregate the yard from.
Yes. Give him his own water fountain.
You're gonna let him swim like only in part
And
of the
it'll be
pool?
lower than the other one.
That is terrible.
Because it's a dog, but like
Yeah, dogs.
still
drink
not a
love.
good look, Phil.
But it's a white dog.
It is. That's
I just don't know. I don't know what to make of this.
that's the irony in all of this.
So if you go on strike, they say that you're picketing, right?
Yes.
I assume
Picket.
that's because people used to make signs using fence pickets.
Is that where that comes from? Picketing?
I assume.
Picketing.
Like you got your picket, and then
Yeah,
you put
you got your
make a
picket.
picket sign,
And now I'm
and
going
then
to
you're
go
like,
picketing.
and then you make a picket line.
And yesterday
And
I
then it
picketed.
just becomes picketing.
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 I wonder-
Picketing.
Okay, how about this?
Picketing.
Is there a chance that the fence was named after? Because if you go look up picket, it's the noun, a person or group of people standing outside a place of work or other venue.
Uh-huh.
A blockade
Oh.
of a workplace or other venue staged by a group of people. And then the third
Staged, you say?
definition is a pointed wooden stake driven into the ground, typically to form a fence or palisade.
So
Wait,
picket is
staged
from
like
the
crisis actors?
French piquer, which means to prick.
Piquet,
It's literally like it's a what do you call it?
a needle.
It's a derivation of the word pick, which means pike,
Yeah, I
or
mean,
which
piquet
translates
means
as
to
pike.
piquet means like poke or stab.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
like
a picket
PK
picket is just like another word for pike.
It's the strongest power.
That sounds pike is such a. That's kind of a terrible sounding word for some reason. Pike.
That's from the 1680s.
Strong.
The picket fence was in 1817. That's when the first usage of picket fence was used.
Huh.
I'm guessing
seems weird.
that's pre union strike picketing.
Probably.
And it seems weird that people would adapt the process of picketing to the fence that goes around their yard.
Well, so here's another theory.
But is it just because it's
Here's
like
a
the handle
theory.
of the sign?
But
Yeah,
that was
keep
my
doing that.
first theory. Here's my other theory. My second theory is that maybe it has to do with like they're kind of like building a fence out of people,
Ooh,
right?
yes.
So they are like forming a picket
Mm.
line, and the people
Yeah.
are the pickets.
Ooh, they are the pickets.
Because it even says it's a barricade.
Yeah, so you're
We-
like barricade, and you like make a picket line.
Be the picket you want to see in the world.
And so when you make a picket line, you are a picket, or you are picketing.
Picketing.
A picketer.
How many high school kids in Utah have ever used the play on words of like picket me for the dance? You know, instead
A
of
lot.
pick me. I bet a lot, right? And they have it
Yeah.
on like a strike sign. This
Get
says
all
like
their
eat,
friends to come out. Yeah.
It says like eat the rich on one side, and then it says picket me for,
It says don't strike out,
for
picket me.
Valentine's dance. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I want to
Don't be a
develop a
scab.
sign. I mean, a business, an online business that sells like picket signs, and it's called Picket Master.
Ooh. I thought
And
you
the
were going to
fees
say.
are just astronomical.
Yeah,
I thought
and
you were
then
gonna
I will
say,
get picketed.
Yeah.
Yes. I thought you were
True
going to say that
irony.
you want to create a business for high school kids in Utah, helping them.
Oh yeah, that would be fun too.
Stage asking each other to dances, and you get paid an outrageous fee to like assist in the process.
I want to do it, but I want to do it like a TV show, like Made. Remember that show, Made? But it's all just asking people out.
Yes,
in
only.
crazy ways. Yeah, not even out, just like to a dance specifically.
Of course,
to a high school dance.
Yes,
yes,
a formal, if you will.
You'll be going in a group, and your dress, your like dress will have themes.
Yes, my dress will have themes. We will dress in a theme.
Exactly.
Dude, I remember
full regalia.
So I remember watching Laguna Hills back in the day, and like
we all do.
Seeing them asking each other to homecoming was like, I was like, what are these people doing and
like,
why?
What is happening right now?
They're acting like it's just like my proposal wasn't even that elaborate.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing with your life?
It reminds you of like the car commercials during Christmas where they show there's like cars parked on the driveway with the big bow on it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like that has never happened to a single person that I've ever known. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe that happens to somebody, but they're either so rich or they make such bad financial decisions that it's like that's a world separated from me.
Have you seen that Key and Peele sketch?
It's like, I got you a car bow.
I got you a car bow. It's like, what?
He's like,
like in the commercials, the car bow commercials.
You have to know the commercials for the car, right?
And
you have to know that.
Effing rich people.
People are buying people a car. Oh man.
I got your car bow. He's like, that's my car. You put it on my car. Yeah, it's a car bow.
That's a good joke.
It's pretty funny.
It's pretty good.
It's okay.
I mean,
for a woman,
it's all right.
It's funny for a girl.
Is the joke a girl?
Yeah. No, I'm saying it's funny.
Okay, so do you want to talk about feminism
for
women? Yeah, sure.
Okay,
yeah, save me from my terrible bit.
Yeah, I'll throw myself in front of this bus to save you. So the WNBA has has become sort of one of the public faces of sort of pay equality and gender equality in some ways, right?
Okay.
Here we go.
Is that fair to say, though? Would you
no, here we go.
Would you agree with the fact that the WNBA has sort of become one of the faces of that movement, I guess, or not necessarily?
Here we go.
I will stipulate.
By the way, I'm not talking about your
more
feminism
so than any
topic,
other,
just
more so than
basketball,
more so than any other sport.
I would say like women's soccer is the one that comes to mind first.
Okay,
but yeah.
Then if that's the case,
but we in America don't care about that. So
then I take
it's
back
U.S. soccer. We care about women's soccer.
I take back what I'm about to say. Then potentially, but
I think maybe you should just take it back, regardless.
No. Here's my point. It's like women. Why do they need all that money for, anyways? Like, come on. No, like I feel bad. I feel bad saying this. But like, there are so many sports which are equally entertaining between men and women, and probably are more entertaining, like the women's sports that are split up between men and women. Which, let's be honest, most professional sports are, because you're just like the very top 0.01% of people or whatever. That like women's basketball is just objectively worse than men's basketball. And I'm sorry to say that, but I feel bad that like that has largely become one of the faces of that movement, because there's too many examples to point to of like women's basketball is just not as good. But if you're saying
I'll
that
be honest,
soccer,
I have not watched it very much, but
if you're saying that soccer is more so the face, and certainly probably globally it is, then I would say that counteracts my point, because I would say women's soccer is at least as entertaining as men's soccer to watch, which are both zero. But
I would say I enjoy like high level soccer, but
totally.
the
But
U.S.
the
women's
difference,
team is like internationally relevant. They're like, one of the top in the world. So
that's another thing that and that doesn't that kind of make you.
It's
that's
like,
when you
honestly, they should be getting paid more than the men, because our U.S. men's team is not very good.
Yeah, they suck. Which, granted, it's because soccer just isn't as popular in the U.S.
Yeah,
but it kind of makes me proud to be an American when women's soccer,
sure.
women's hockey is the same way. We're like,
yeah,
we don't often, although the U.S. World Junior team won.
Yeah, they
hold on.
Awesome.
Wait,
and two of those dudes
women's
are
hockey?
like Tyson DeGrass's Ducks prospect.
Yeah, yeah, dude. So
there is women's
Phil,
hockey.
yes, there is women's hockey.
There's men's hockey too.
We just call it hockey, Phil.
Yeah, it's hockey and men's hockey.
So the U.S. women's hockey team is very good, and they've won the gold medal at the Olympics.
Yeah,
most of the years that they've been involved. Where the U.S. team, I don't know if they've won in recent history. I mean, Canada has won a few times.
You know what they say about ducks?
What do they say?
If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's Antifa.
I also really enjoy like women's tennis.
Yeah, totally.
Like Serena Williams is still just amazing.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is like there are a lot of
tennis
sports
is the one that you reverse it towards the male gender. Like you say tennis, and then you say men's tennis.
I say women's tennis. And
you say
men's
basketball
tennis.
and women's basketball, but then when you're talking about tennis, you say tennis and men's tennis.
Yeah, I refer to it as the NBA and the MNBA.
The men's NBA.
The men's NBA.
MNBA.
Yes. The
MNBA.
MNBA.
The MNBA. MNBA.
The MNBA.
Yeah, MENBA. More like women BA, right? All right.
Antoine Menbier. I could not think of a French name like Jean-Luc Menbier.
Jean-Luc Menbier. So that's my high horse. I fully support all the women as long as they don't like take too much away from the men. I think it's great.
I think the WNBA more so than fighting for pay equality, at least this year, has been really big in like the social justice and racial equality movement,
which I think is awesome. And it's it sucks that people will then just like dismiss it because it's like, oh, they can't even dunk. Yeah. It's like, well, I don't know. They can still have an opinion on police brutality, even though they can't dunk, Like,
yeah. Plus, like, they still are at the top of the sport. They're still
totally
even like it's so dumb because even people who are like, oh yeah, like like you would say, oh, men's basketball is objectively more entertaining than women's basketball. That's what you would say, right? And there's a lot of people who say that, but they can't say that those women suck. Like they're still better than you.
Yeah,
and they're better than the vast majority of men.
They're a billion times better than any of us.
Exactly. Even like guys who play forever and go to college and stuff. And even the top, like the WNBA players, the top ones are better than a lot of the NBA players.
I don't even know about that, but that's almost like irrelevant.
Maybe not like physically more, like they might not be able to beat them, but they might be more technically skilled. But I don't know.
But that like MMA, because people talk about like, oh, this MMA fighter could beat, like there's there's like no female MMA fighter that could beat a male, but it's like that's why they don't fight each other. Like Amanda
like there's
Nunes,
no lightweight guy that could beat the heavyweight either.
Yeah, exactly. Like Amanda Nunes is one of the most dominant MMA fighters in like recent history.
Yeah.
And people will still like, well, but she's a woman. It's like, well, her fights are more entertaining than most
like,
men,
dude, remember when what's her name was like at the height?
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey. She'd beat people in like 11 seconds and then she lost and then she just
and then it turned out that like
after
it's
she
just
lost.
Because hardly any women were fighting.
Yeah.
And once some good ones came around, she got beat like
she got
so bad, merciless.
She got her bell rung.
Yeah, dude.
Her southern bell.
Got her bell ringed.
She got her southern bell rung.
In fact, that was like one of the greatest UFC nights. She lost to Holly Holm in the same
Yeah, that was great.
The same night that Conor McGregor lost to Nate Diaz, which was like 2 insane upsets in one night.
Okay, I want to take this conversation. This conversation can go in one of two ways in my mind.
Phil, let me ask you one question.
We could talk about Gina, what's her name?
Carano.
Yes, and her
coronavirus,
and her missteps or not, depending on your point of view on Twitter recently.
Oh, I didn't see.
Or we could talk about kids in my class using or misusing pronouns. Which one?
I don't want to talk about either of those things.
That doesn't sound fun. I mean, at least since you teach at a public school instead of that white supremacist school, at least like I'm assuming that the conversation would be very different if you were still teaching there.
Dude, remember when Gina Carano was on American Gladiators? You remember that?
Oh yeah.
I don't know who Gina Carano is.
Yes, you do, because you've been watching
The Mandalorian. Mando. She was also
she's the woman. I
mean, I feel bad
saying that. Yes, she's like the main woman.
She was also
Come on,
in
guys.
Fast and the Furious.
It's 2021.
At one point. Fast and the Furious 6 she was in, and I believe she had a fight with Ronda Rousey in that movie.
She kind of disappeared on Mando. So just to give an update, I know the viewers want to know this. I'm on episode 2 of season 2 of The Mandalorian.
How did you stop back then?
I know I was going pretty hard for a little while there, and then I stopped. But they just sort of had a standoff with a large monster.
Yes,
some help from some unlikely allies
with the little worm, the worm thing. The dragon, the sand dragon.
And that's all I'll say about it.
I said, I said,
but
I was talking with some friends. I was talking with some friends, and I said, dude, that episode with the sand people was so awesome. And then a buddy of mine goes, oh gosh, that is such an offensive term. Tuscan Raiders, please.
Oh my gosh.
Tuscan Raiders.
Phil, I have a question for you, and you can answer it quickly. We don't have to get into the whole thing, but I have a question for you.
Oh no.
Which is more impressive? To make it to the championship 6 times and win all 6, or to make it 10 times and win 4 out of the 10?
What sport?
Yeah. The championship
doesn't matter.
It does matter because it's way harder to get to the championship of football than it is in basketball.
Well, it's the same, but it's the same sport.
I know, but I'm saying getting to the championship 10 times in football, like Tom Brady is by far the best quarterback of all time.
Okay, I'm talking about basketball.
Okay. I would. Okay, yeah, it's a question for Phil.
Okay.
Has he really been to 10 championships?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because the freaking Cavs would go every year and lose. Man. Poor Cavs.
Okay, so you're saying four wins.
4 wins.
And 2 second places, or
10. No, 6 second places. So they
6
went
second
10
places.
times.
Yes. 4 wins,
Otherwise,
6 second places, or just 6 first places and no second places.
Well,
so what's more impressive, 6 gold medals or 4 gold medals and 6 silver medals?
Well, I'll tell you this. If No Fear t-shirts from the 90s have taught me anything, second place is the first loser. So,
which only works in like speed-based events, because it's like the first, like second place in a tournament is the last loser.
Yeah.
And if you're Daniel LaRusso, you say tournament.
Or what about this? What's more impressive?
Do you know who we're comparing with that analogy, Phil?
I have no
idea. Don't tell him yet. I'm going to throw another one in the ring.
Don't tell him.
What about if you went to 7 finals and won 5 of them? So you got 5 gold medals and 2 silver medals.
Okay. My No Fear t-shirt reasoning still stands.
So you think the 6 never losing a championship is more impressive?
You guys, I don't know, but
there's not a right or wrong answer.
I'm telling you.
Who's the guy that? Oh, is that Kobe? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense. So the guy who went to 6 championships, that happened in the 90s.
Okay.
And although one of his is tainted because he pushed off on Brian Russell, everybody knows it. He's a freaking cheater. And he didn't even have the flu. He was just hungover in the flu game.
Yes, it is Michael Jordan. 6 games, 6 finals, 6 wins.
But LeBron's been to the finals 10 times. I don't know. The fact that he went with the freaking teams he had, like for the first half of his career, he had some of the worst teams.
Yeah. Okay. So me not knowing anything, can I?
Yeah. Who do you think is better, LeBron or Jordan
or Kobe? It's definitely Kobe, but
it's not even close to Kobe. But
raise your hand if you're a rapist.
Yikes.
None of us are rapists.
Oh, we don't speak ill of the dead, and certainly I'm not going to admit it on a podcast.
Plus, raising our hands, it's an audio medium. Like
exactly.
But we'll know.
Phil just raised his hand.
Okay. Am I correct? So you just brought this up that like, with the teams he had, I don't even know what that means. But what I do know is like
it means the other players on the team were not great.
Sport. That's what I'm saying. A sport that is a single person sport, does that mean it matters more? Because maybe this is another question off of your question. Like going to a finals or, a championship with a crappy team, that's obviously like more impressive than like a freaking all-star team getting a championship, right? Wouldn't you say?
Like when Golden State, like some of their championships, they were like so stacked that it wasn't that impressive. And you could even argue that for some of the LeBron like Heat teams, but like the first three championships that Jordan won, they weren't super stacked. I mean, they had Pippen for all of them.
Yeah, they had good. I mean, they were better than like.
Did they have Steve Kerr for all of them? Because he was like, honestly,
I think he was in the end. They had like, I think they had.
They had Dennis Rodman for the last ones, or maybe he was the first ones.
No, he was in the second part too. Yeah. I think, because this is all. I only know this from The Last Dance. Like these are all people.
They had Luke Longley in the first ones.
That Horace Grant was in the first ones, I think.
Yeah. Robert Horry was in some of those.
Yeah, Robert Horry.
Oh yeah,
The Secret Life of Robert Horry.
I still can't believe that the Patriots, because football is so much harder to get to the Super Bowl because you only have one game. And football is kind of a crazy sport where like any play, either team can score 6 points no matter what.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Patriots have gone so many times, that's because people will make that same argument, Phil, for Joe Montana, because he's only been to 4 Super Bowls, but he won all 4 of them.
Okay.
Tom Brady has won 6, I think, but he's been to like 10 or something crazy like that.
But I think if you have more wins, like that automatically seems better, regardless of how many losses you have.
Totally. But there are still people who say like it's better to be undefeated in the Super Bowl than to have won even more.
Dumb.
Which is crazy.
It makes no sense.
No, it's like you're saying they're better even though there were other years they didn't even make it to the Super Bowl. Like, doesn't even make sense. Plus,
What if it was like 6 wins, no losses versus like 5 wins, 6 losses?
Man, that's
like close, right?
Yeah. I honestly think
LeBron wins another one.
If we weren't talking about basketball, if we were talking about football, I would choose somebody who had only won 4 and lost 6. I would choose the LeBron guy on the football side.
Like honestly, I think the Bills going to 3 or 4 in a row,
that was super
and losing
impressive.
all of them, like that's more impressive than winning one.
Yeah, they were much better. They were much more impressive than the Giants in the early 90s.
Yeah. Crazy.
Don't you think, Phil?
Yes. I mean, absolutely. What is a bill, by the way?
A bill?
It's a buffalo as their mascot.
Well, they're named after Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill Hickok?
That's Wild Bill Hickok.
Oh. Is it?
Yeah, Buffalo Bill Cody.
Oh, you're right.
Wild Bill
Both of them were in the movie Tombstone, right?
No, that was who was it? I was like, dang it! I was trying to think of the actor's name, and I couldn't. That was Val Kilmer.
No, that's Doc Holliday.
Are you thinking of Bill Paxton?
No, I'm thinking.
You're thinking of Bill Paxton.
No.
You're thinking of Bill Pullman.
No.
No, Tombstone's about Wyatt Earp, and oh yeah. I think you're right. Like at one point they see them in the beginning. Right?
I know I'm right.
I don't think you are right.
You talk about basketball for 5 minutes, and all of a sudden, all angry.
Are they in Tombstone? Is that who those guys are supposed to be at the beginning?
There's a lot of famous Wild West.
I don't think either of the
people.
Buffalo. I don't think either of the Bills are.
Are you trying to think of like a politically correct way of saying cowboy?
Well, they're not technically cowboys, so.
I mean, they kind of are, just because they don't work on a cattle farm, right?
I don't think either of they're Old West guys.
Was Billy
either
the
of
Kid?
the Bills are in it?
Was Billy the Kid famous outside of New Mexico?
He's
I
freaking
like
famous,
him.
dude.
Okay, I was gonna say
He's famous because of the movie Young Guns. Right, Aaron?
Well, he's famous because he was Billy the Kid, and it's just famous. Like in the same way that like Daniel Boone is famous.
Okay,
It's weird that Billy the Kid is famous though, because he's literally he's a murderer. Like he's not like a good guy.
He is a good guy.
but
He's a good guy in the movie. He's not a good guy in real life.
Yeah, he's like Robin Hood.
No,
I mean, he was kind of
no,
like
he is not.
well, he was kind of like Aladdin.
He robbed from the rich and gave to himself.
He robbed from the middle class.
Yeah. You obviously don't know the meaning of the word pals, Phil. What?
Pals?
Of what?
You obviously don't know the meaning of the word pals.
Okay. Enlighten me.
No, that's just a line from Young Guns too.
Oh, I see.
That's what Billy the Kid says. That's what proves he's a good guy. He knows the meaning of the word pals.
Is it bad that I'm from New Mexico and I haven't seen I haven't seen Young Guns?
Those things are both bad.
I will say this. In Prescott, Arizona,
or as I say, Prescott,
where I lived for a short amount of time.
That's like when people say Oregon, by the way, Aaron.
Prescott?
It's Prescott, yeah.
Scott.
There is
I call it pre-Scott.
there's a bar downtown that is said to have been owned by, I think, one of the Earps. But like a lot of the local, like one of the things that a lot of local people talk about
was it Omar Earps?
I don't think Omar Earps would be very welcome in Prescott, Arizona. Let me just
unfortunately.
Really?
Let me just say that.
Is that a fact?
I mean,
it's definitely MAGA country.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like hardcore. I mean, they wouldn't be like nowadays they wouldn't be like chased away, but
yeah.
Where is Tombstone Tombstone's way down by the border.
Yeah, but
south of Tucson. I didn't know that.
So that they're like the facts of that of those situations are contested by the two groups of people, and that some of the family of the other dudes, not Earps, are very adamant about the Earps were like just big jerks waving their badges around, starting trouble, and picking fights with people that were just trying to, live their lives.
You're trying to live a life of like murder and pillaging, and you come here picking fights.
Oh, really, Aaron? So you're taking the sides of the cops. Is that what you're doing, Aaron?
Was that restaurant that they own, is it called the Pillage Inn?
That's a good one.
Is the Village Inn a restaurant or is it a hotel? I can't remember.
The Village Inn
both.
is like a newspaper.
The Village Inn?
No, that's the Gazette. The Village Inn.
No, it's a restaurant.
We're a Village Inn. We continue to village. Villaging all the way to the bank.
Oh, that's funny.
Were they villageantes? Hey guys,
Antifa.
Thanks for friendship.
Thanks for 6 championships.
5. So one of them has an asterisk.
But here's the thing: if you make it to the finals 10 times versus make it to the finals 6 times, like you still made it to the finals.
Yeah,
you huge. Keep saying that.
I mean, the thing is, like Jordan, like he was his
but I'm
own
saying,
worst enemy.
if you don't get second place, that means you got third or lower. Like exactly. That's worse than second.
Like it's huge.
Is there a monetary value? Well, yeah, there actually is a monetary value for second place.
There's a monetary prize, yeah.
So like, there isn't a prize for third.
Kind of. Usually they get a bonus like from the team.
Yeah, but certainly like. The thing that's weird to compare numbers like that is like Jordan just, I mean, first of all, he left the one time to go play baseball, quote unquote, to like avoid all the gambling scandals and stuff. But
yeah,
like he should have just played longer.
That's true.
Like he'd be like the all-time leader in so many stats probably if he had played as long as LeBron or a lot of other guys.
If he listens to this, he's going to be very offended. Sorry, Michael.
Yeah.
But thanks for friendship, regardless.
Thanks for friendship,
regardless of that. All right.
Small